Hi, I'm Lexi from L.U.C.K with Lexi. My podcast focuses on people who are working extremely hard and doing extraordinary things. Today, my guest is Emma Gentry. Emma is a 2020 graduate of Alpena High School. In 2020, she also represented Team USA in the U18 World Championship in Slovakia. In 2023, she was named U.S. Collegiate Select Team. Emma also played AAA hockey for Meijer and HoneyBaked Ham, attended USA Select Development Camps, and is currently in her senior year at St. Cloud University, where she has played hockey for the last 4 years. Emma served as the captain this year, is all-time leader in game-winning goals, is a four-time WCHA all-academic team member, was a scholar athlete, was American Hockey Coaches Association All-American Scholar, and was twice Rookie of the Week. That takes a lot of dedication to accomplish. So I mentioned you were from Alpena. Did you grow up there your whole life?
Yes, I did. So, I was born and raised in Alpena, and I ended up moving away when I was 15 downstate to play hockey. But for the most part, I grew up here and love coming back.
Did you play any other sports or just hockey?
Yes, I pretty much played every sport but softball, I like to say. I still play a lot of golf in the summers. It's my favorite way to reset. But I grew up playing volleyball, basketball, wiffle ball in the backyard, pretty much every sport.
When did you start playing hockey?
I was about 4 years old, 3 or 4. I was looking at pictures of my dad one day, and I always wanted to be like him when I grew up. And I was like, Mom and Dad, I want to play hockey. So I think they took me to an open skate, and it was kind of love at first sight, I like to say.
Growing up in Alpena, it's not always easy to find ice time or find girls' team just to be able to practice. How did you work for that?
Yeah, so there's actually no girls' teams growing up. So I ended up playing with the boys for about 11 years. Loved it. Loved playing with the boys. My dad coached me for 10 of those. And I was fortunate enough to be able to play with the boys, but I also ended up meeting Ben Henry and Dave Meinhardt. And they both have been a huge part of my development. And so I would skate with them over the summers and get private ice time. And yeah, that's kind of how it went when I was
That's
younger.
awesome.
Yeah.
You played AAA hockey for Meijer and HoneyBaked Ham. Did you have to leave Alpena High School to do that?
Yep. So when I was 15, it's called building. So I moved away when I was 15 to Rockford, Grand Rapids, and I lived there for 2 years and played for Meijer. And then I switched over to HoneyBaked and lived in Farmington Hills.
Did you have to live with like a host family?
Yep. So I lived with a teammate the first 2 years in Rockford, and then a girl who was on the under 16 team, and lived with her. So
Awesome. To be as good as you are, you have to make a lot of sacrifices along the way. What were some of those?
yeah, I think a big thing. I mean, I moved away when I was in high school, so high school years. I feel like a lot of, I guess, normal high schoolers love going to dances, football games, stuff like that. So you have to sacrifice, I think, a lot of friendships and I guess just experiences in high school like those dances and football games and memories that a lot of people talk about in their older age. But for me, I mean, my circles is pretty small. My family is my backbone. So having them by my side and trusting that these sacrifices were going to pay off one day, as well as I have 2 or 3 best friends that support me and have similar mindset as me. So those sacrifices were pretty easy for me. And I knew what I wanted to do. So I just had to trust the process and stick with it and just keep working hard. So
Yeah. You were able to represent Team USA in both world championships and the collegiate level. Tell us about those experiences.
yeah, for me, representing your country is, the biggest honor. And to me, it's the ultimate honor. So my first call, I remember calling my mom, and I'm like, Mom, guess who just called me? I was actually working the concession stand at the rink that I was in Farmington Hills. And so we both were like crying on the phone. So it was a dream come true. I mean, it's every time I get to put on a USA jersey, whether it's practice or a game jersey, it's the ultimate honor. And it just confirms that all those sacrifices and all the hard work that you have done, it pays off.
So after the 2020 Team USA experience, you went to play for the St. Cloud University. What made you choose St. Cloud, and were there any other places you were thinking?
Yeah, so Minnesota's pretty similar to Michigan. A lot of people say, which it is, weather-wise. And St. Cloud actually held a lot of those USA development camps. So I had gone there a couple summers prior to when I committed. And that's when the recruiting started. The head coach and assistant coach had talked to me a couple of times. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, the rink is beautiful, the facilities are great, and it kind of just felt like home. It's more of a small town feel, kind of like Michigan or kind of like Alpena. And I was kind of, I just kind of knew that I wanted to go there. A couple other schools had reached out. It was between St. Cloud and St. Lawrence. Those were my top two. St. Lawrence is based out of New York, and it's a pretty remote campus. And I knew I wanted something a little bit bigger, a little closer to the cities, which I love going to the cities on the weekends in Minnesota. But it was pretty much between St. Cloud and St. Lawrence. A couple other schools had reached out too, but ultimately it came down to those two.
Yeah. How's the hockey scene different in Minnesota versus Michigan?
Yeah, growing up, I feel like the programs are just completely different in Minnesota. All my Minnesotan teammates, they all have girls' high school hockey, and I'm sure you guys have heard about the boys' tournaments in Minnesota as well. They sell out the Excel Center, which is the NHL rink there for high school hockey, which is crazy. It's the state of hockey, they call it, so it's definitely a big hockey state. And I mean, Michigan is too, but I feel like just the experiences development wise for younger kids is just a lot different. Yeah.
You were named All-American Scholar and All Academic Team Member, so you obviously do well academically. How hard was it for you to juggle your schoolwork and hockey at the same time?
Yeah, my freshman year, it took a month and a half probably to fully adjust just to the academic schedule. But I think also moving away when I was 15, I actually did online school. And ironically, I went in during COVID, so everything was online. So that made it a lot easier, I feel like. When I moved away, it helped me adjust faster just because I had been doing online school in high school. But still, just the schedule between training for 4 to 5 hours a day, as well as trying to study for a final exam, is a lot of stress and trying to recover on top of that. So it definitely took. I mean, I still juggle it and try to figure out when new semesters start, but for the most part, I have it figured out now. But it took a little bit to find what works for me.
You were named captain. How does that get decided?
Yeah, so I believe every team is different in some ways, but so that the way it works for us is we have a 7-person leadership group, and that all gets voted in when, like, at the beginning of the year, when the coach he sends out a Google Doc or whatever. And so then out of those 7 people that get voted in, the coaches will choose captains, and then the players get to vote as well. So
that's super cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being on the St. Cloud's team?
Honestly, my teammates, but also I just love. I love going into the rink and just working hard every day. My dream was to play Division I hockey, and to have been able to accomplish that is amazing. And just being able to go to the rink and skate pretty much whenever I want, work out whenever I want is I absolutely love it.
Are there any particular games that stick out, either good or bad to you?
Yeah, so my favorite team to play is Wisconsin. So we'll travel there, and they sell out their arena every time, which is super, super fun. I love the energy in the rink. But we'd end up playing it's called a Fill the Bowl game. And it was actually at the men's ice arena. And we played in front of, I believe it was 12,000 fans, and we ended up beating them. So that was, and Wisconsin's a really good team. They're in the national championship today, actually. So yeah, I mean, that was probably one of my favorite hockey memories. And then this year, we actually played in an outdoor game in the cities of Minneapolis, and that was a really, really fun game as well.
What do you consider your greatest accomplishment?
Yeah, I think first off, just being able to play Division I hockey was that's all that I had. I mean, set my eyes on, because there wasn't a pro league to play in. And so I think just being able to have achieved that goal, and then also being able to represent my country, is definitely, one of the greatest accomplishments. But I think for me personally too, the person that I've become throughout my entire journey and my career, I'm really proud of who I am, and the things that I've accomplished along the way.
That's awesome. You've received a bachelor's and master's degree. What are those in, and what are your next steps?
Yeah, so my bachelor's is in community health, And then I'm actually still working toward my master's, my graduate degree in clinical mental health counseling. And I really enjoy that. Psychology is a huge passion of mine. And I think that a lot of athletes are underlooked almost just for the mental side of things because, I mean, you're always looking at their accomplishments, their trophies. But I mean, the hard work that it takes to get there is, I mean, insane. A lot of people don't know unless you're really close to that athlete or that person. And so that was kind of my passion and why I chose clinical mental health counseling. And I would like to continue that and work with athletes someday.
Do you want to continue with hockey?
Yes. So right now I'm working with an agent, and the PWHL draft starts in June. So I mean, fingers crossed, it's looking pretty good right now. But yeah, I would like to play as long as I can, and hopefully Detroit gets an expansion team.
And they recently just broke like the attendance record and like the millionth fan.
Yes.
So is there a place you'd want to play hockey outside of Michigan if they don't get a team?
Yeah, I grew up going to tournaments in Boston, actually. It's called Beantown Classic. It was my favorite tournament of the year. So Boston has always been a top city of mine, and I would love to go play for Boston. Anywhere in the U.S., to be honest. The U.S.-Canada rivalry is still there in my mind, and so I don't, but I mean, wherever I get drafted, it's great. So.
Is there someone who inspired you to have the work ethic you do?
Yeah, both my parents. I mean, my mom being a teacher and my dad as a small business owner, entrepreneur. He, I mean, was always, I guess I'd wait for him to come home from work and to shoot pucks, and my mom would be doing lessons plans, or they both work very hard. They still work very hard. But I think for me, I knew that if I wanted something, I had to earn it. And I remember my favorite thing to look forward to is after school is shooting pucks with my dad. And I don't know if I wanted a new stick one day or I wanted him to shoot pucks with me. He put a cardboard box in the in the garage, and I really wanted my shot to get harder. And he's like, "Well, if you can shoot a puck through this cardboard box, like your shot's going to be hard enough. You can get a new stick." But yeah, I'm really thankful for both of them. They both instilled a work ethic in me that I like to say is rare. I really embrace working hard, and I think that's the one thing that you can control each game. If a game's not going your way, or if someone's more skilled than you can always control your work ethic and outwork teams. So yeah.
What is some advice you'd give someone who's trying to reach their goals?
Yeah, I think we talked about sacrifices a little bit earlier in the podcast, but you're going to have to make sacrifices for whatever it is that you want to achieve. But I think if you embrace those sacrifices and also surround yourself with people who have similar mindsets as you, I mean, you can do amazing things. But also, enjoy the journey, enjoy everything leading up to whatever it is you want to achieve, and just keep working hard.
Now we're going to do some more fun questions. What's your favorite hockey team?
My favorite hockey team, obviously I love the Wings, the Red Wings. Grew up watching them, but I am a Maple Leafs fan, Austin Matthews fan. But those are probably my top two.
Who's your favorite hockey player?
I love Austin Matthews. His shot is amazing. I try to mimic it, but it's almost impossible. But he's amazing. But I also love Tyler Bertuzzi. He played for the Wings, and I believe he's at the Blackhawks now.
And what's your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? I don't really have a favorite, but one of my hobbies, I love to just go around and try new restaurants, new coffee shops. I probably like Mexican food is probably my favorite, though.
Yeah. What's your favorite place to visit?
Love coming home to visit, but I love traveling anywhere. I would say home's probably just my favorite place to visit.
What's your favorite thing to do when you travel places for like hockey or new places?
Definitely find a coffee shop. Local coffee shop is my favorite thing to do. Yeah, I mean, I love everything coffee. So.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You have an amazing story. If you know someone who's working hard in your community, send us a DM. Luck Unlimited Apparel. Thank you for listening to Luck It with Lexi.
Thank you.